I recently created a firestorm when I was on a public podcast and said people should not stretch. And as always, given the conversation that we were having, I wasn't able to actually elaborate on why I don't think stretching should be done. So thank you for watching this video and giving me a chance to clarify. Stretching, first and foremost, is absolutely unequivocally beneficial when done at the right time and done in the right manner. So let me kind of reverse engineer this entire topic. After the muscle tissue is at its highest temperature, post-exercise, post-warm-up, post-race, absolutely stretching is beneficial because the core body temperature, the core muscle temperature is at its highest. The risk of tearing that when you stretch is going to be minimized. But let's go back to the other side of the equation and why I don't want you to stretch. While you're watching this video, do me a favor, and I want you to stand up right where you're at. I want you to put your right leg up on something, chair, desk, wherever your flexibility will allow you. Now, please do it slowly because you're not warmed up, but I want you to see something that will validate why stretching is not productive, particularly when you're cold. So look down at your foot, your left foot. Make sure your left foot is squared and facing the same direction. So you've got your right leg in front of you, lock your knee out. Take your left foot, line it up, so now your hips are square. And what that's going to do is I now want you to lower your chest down, and because you've squared your hips up, what you're doing is you're actually isolating the hamstring. Slowly lower your chest down till you feel that slight little tension. Could be right behind the knee, could be up by your bum, could be right in the belly of the hamstring. Now stop and sit back up. Slowly come down again, very, very slowly, and feel for that tension. And when you feel the tension, stop where you're at. Now go ahead and raise your chest up, bring your leg down and sit down again and listen to this conversation. We're going to go big science term here. What you just felt was called the Myotatic Stretch Reflex. Now please, again, this is going to be a slightly longer video, but please stick with me. Don't get hung up on the big terminology, and don't get hung up and say Rob doesn't agree with stretching. You need to educate yourself on the context in between. When a muscle tissue is warmed up, the elasticity of that muscle tissue is going to embrace stretching. But what you just felt, that myotatic stretch reflex, it is a self-defense mechanism found in every muscle to keep you from tearing that muscle tissue. So let's go back. Please stick with me. When a muscle is cold, it's short. You try to stretch something that is cold, you're going to run the risk of tearing it. You're going to tear it off. Every muscle has an origin and an insertion. So when a muscle becomes torn, it can be torn at the origin, the insertion, or even in the belly. Now, when you felt that stretch reflex, I want you to visualize I'm holding one end of the rope, you're holding the other, and it's extremely tight. And somebody walks up and pushes the middle of that. Well, when they push the middle of it, it's either going to pull the rope out of my hand or it's going to pull the rope out of yours. Well, that rope represents muscle. So stop and think about it. When you go down to stretch in your brain, because we're programmed to be very, very smart and protective, if the body thinks that you're going to tear the belly of the tissue, what it does is it shortens the muscle. Myotatic stretch reflex. This is a neuromuscular communication, and in an attempt to keep you from tearing the muscle, now you have the weight of your upper torso is laying down, hamstring is elongated, stretched, and when it thinks it's gone too far and it's going to contract, you actually end up tearing the attachments off and or you tear the belly of the tissue. And unfortunately, when you tear a tissue, it gets replaced with scar tissue, and scar tissue is not flexible, it's non-elastic. So you see this vicious cycle that people put themselves in. They get committed to flexibility and improving their range of motion. They say, every morning I get up, I'm going to stretch. Well, when you sleep, the blood stays centralized in your heart. The organ of your heart is the number one organ your body's going to always take care of. That's why we lose our appendages and we get frostbite on our appendages, because all the blood, not all, but the lion's share is going to be around the heart. So the average person who gets told they need to increase their flexibility, they get committed to it, right? Our brains get locked into it. They go to bed, they wake up, they stretch a cold muscle, they try to push through the stretch reflex, end up creating microfilament tears that turn into scar tissue. Now the flexibility is reduced. Now they're really frustrated. They're like, how can I put in this much effort into improving my range of motion and it's actually regressed. Now you know why. So thank you so much for sticking with me on this concept. Do I embrace flexibility? 100% at the right time. When you go to stretch, you don't want to bounce. That's called ballistic stretching. You want to just, like you just did, you want to go to where you feel a comfortable pull, hang out there. What you're trying not to invoke is the stretch reflex. So if you wait, hang out there, take a couple deep breaths through your belly, then all of a sudden what happens? The muscle will naturally elongate. Why? Because it thinks, or it trusts that you're not going to tear it, so it naturally elongates. And that's going to improve your overall flexibility, doing it the right way at the right time. So like I said earlier, thank you for sticking with me. I know this is a little bit of a longer video. Please don't stretch when you're cold. Please don't bounce when you stretch, and make sure that you enjoy improved range of motion, which will, anytime that you're more flexible, you have better top end speed, better power, better endurance all the way around. So again, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for giving me your time on this video and all of them that you've watched. If you like this video and you're new, please do me a favor, like and subscribe, because we put out a new video every day answering your questions. And if you happen to have more questions, please send us an email, contact@coachrob.com. We'll convert it into a video and we'll make sure we get it answered so all of our followers can benefit from your question. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. And again, thank you for your time.